Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. So it's exciting this is our very first LinkedIn Live, and I'm really excited that we're broadcasting here on LinkedIn and YouTube as well. So I'll be your host. My name is Joy Bunsu Schmutz, and I'm the co founder and CEO of Agyei Innovation Studios. Thank you all for joining. I can see some of you on, so kindly let me know in the chat where you are joining us from. Thank you so much. It's a wonderful day, and I think one of the things that just introducing the session is to say that wherever you are in your life's journey, just be thankful. Be thankful because lots of people wish they had what you had. Lots of people hoping to be where you are at. It's been a really, rough couple of months where, we've all been locked down some way or the other. But on the flip side, I can tell you that a lot of us have also discovered really amazing things. People have discovered new callings, new passions. People have started businesses through the lockdown, and I must say that we all need to be thankful. We all need to be thankful. Yes, so today it's exciting. This is our first live on Agyei Innovation Studio. So go ahead and share the stream. Connect with your friends. Let them know we're going to have an interesting discussion with a very special friend of mine who also happens to be part of our Startup Box program. Very amazing young man who is doing lots of great things in the cosmetic, industry. So just connect with us. We really want to engage with you. So I can see Stephen. Hi, Stephen. Thanks for connecting with us. Hello, Kiwe. Really nice to have you on. Thank you so much for connecting with us. Kiwe, where are you joining us from? South Africa? Yes, 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 my people. Thank you so much for connecting with us. Stephen, where are you connecting with us from? Yes, thank you so much for connecting. We're going to be getting into the discussion shortly. Prince is here. He cannot wait to tell us all about his amazing journey in starting Moreplex Limited. He's doing really amazing. I think last week I saw him post on his social media that he has taken in his first batch of interns. Can you imagine? I mean, he's not been in the industry for too long, but he's been able to start an internship program, and that is phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. And so I'm excited we can have a conversation with him. Thanks so much for Ziatu for connecting with us from Kumasi, Ghana. Thank you, Stephen, for connecting. Oh, yes, Stephen, you're the HR for Moreplex Company Limited. Awesome. Thanks for connecting. We've got your founder and CEO in the hot seat today. Thank you, everyone. All right, so Johnson, thank you, Johnson, for connecting from Ghana. Yes, and then Stephen, yes. Uh, Stephen wishes you all the best, Prince. Yes, we really want to know what's going on in that space as well. So, the journey of a new business and a startup is really different. Every company that was great today started from somewhere. And today, the population of SMEs are really impacting the economy in Africa today. But notwithstanding, we've also noticed a trend where we're having lots of startups failing. The statistics are actually saying that 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10 startups are failing. Oh, that is quite disturbing. Interestingly, from the statistics from the Startup Genome 2019, it says 9 out of 10 startups fail. And also from Shekhar, who is a lecturer at the Harvard Business School, also said 7.5 out of 10 venture-backed startups fail. So even though they are backed by some venture capitalists, 7.5 out of 10 are failing. And also from the Bureau of Labor, it's saying that 2 out of 10 new businesses fail in the first year of operation. These are really interesting statistics, really interesting statistics. Why are startups failing? So I think one of the things that we would be discussing with Prince is, I mean, how has he kept the momentum? What is he doing to keep his business afloat and all of that? So just stay tuned and thanks for connecting. Just let me know where you're connecting with us from, and we would want to engage with you. So Theophilos, thank you so much for connecting from Ghana. Thanks, Theophilos. I can see Linda. We appreciate you connecting with us. Thanks, Linda from Ghana. A warm greetings also to you, Linda. Yes, thank you so much, everyone. You can just go ahead and share the broadcast with your network, and then they'll be able to connect with us. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thanks so much, everyone, for connecting with us. So I'm going to bring Prince on in a minute, and then we're going to go straight into the discussion. So Focus and Interact, this is the second season of Focus and Interact, as we have in the last year started, really poignant and riveting discussions with, people in industry who started businesses, really to focus on sustainable development. We at Agyei Innovation Studio, our mission is to promote sustainable development, leveraging technology. So we need to be able to have those open discussions around how are we actually, what is the role that we are playing in sustainable development? It really looks like a big word, and people sometimes do not know how to go about it, but we all have a role to play. When we start a company, how are we making sure the company is sustainable? And all of that we would be discussing in a bit. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to bring Prince on now. And then, Prince, thank you so much for honoring our invitation. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. So I'm privileged to welcome Prince Baffour Agyei, my guest for Focus and Interact Season 2. He happens to be our very first guest. And I mean, I know that's a bit of pressure, but I know Prince can handle this.
Yeah.
Okay, Prince, welcome, welcome again, welcome again.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you, everyone who has joined us this afternoon. It's really
Yes,
a privilege to be here and happy to be the first to.
awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. So, Prince, I just have just to set the ball rolling. You are the founder and CEO of Moreplex Company Limited. So we just want to know more about you and then the organization. So first of all, just tell us a little bit about you, because I know you're a MasterCard scholar. You're also a graduate from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm friends, Bafweji, and I'm a Mastercard scholar, as you said. It's one thing that I don't really go out of it anywhere I am. I
Yeah.
want everybody to know that I'm a Mastercard scholar. And I'm the founder and CEO of Moreplex Company Limited. So Moreplex, basically, we are a demo cosmetic industry or company. We started as a community project. We were trying to use rural raw materials to produce standard soaps and also use the opportunity to empower rural women as a way of giving back to our rural community. But now we are combining cosmetics and technology to offer a holistic cosmetic solution in both hair and skin. We also produce home care products, home sanitary products, including even sanitizers. So that's what we have been doing. We have evolved from producing just soaps to a full cosmetic line and also incorporated technology in
Wow.
delivering fast and efficient products.
Yeah, right. That's amazing. I mean, for me, the part that I'm really intrigued about is, merging cosmetics with technology, because then you will be able to, you know, reach wider. You would be able to provide some really tailor-made solutions to your users, because today there's so many different needs out there. And just it just brings my mind to this statistics that one of the biggest reasons why a lot of businesses, new businesses and startups do not make it past, let's say, their fifth anniversary, is because at about 22% is mainly because of the product's market fit. And when you talk about technology, it helps me to understand that yes, through technology and some innovative tools, you would be able to find exactly what the market needs to be able to provide, your services to meet those needs. It's not about just starting a business, but it's about meeting the needs. So I really appreciate that part, and then bringing it out there. But how did you get into cosmetics line? Like, was it a choice? Was it by chance? How did you specifically narrow that niche?
Okay. So basically, when we were starting, like I said, I was starting as a community based project. So I evaluated myself where I have enough knowledge in. And
Mm,
with my background as a chemical engineer, it was easy for me to be able to formulate products in the cosmetic line. Aside that, to a lot of the raw materials that we needed to be able to produce efficient products were around the community that we were coming from. They were just
right.
available in the community. So that is where the choice of cosmetics came in. But we started with just soaps. So being about 3 years in the industry, we realized and interaction with our customers, doing market research and all that, open us to bringing new products
Mm,
on board. So the different cosmetic lines came out of our experience in the markets,
yeah,
interacting with the customers, and then getting exposed to new markets and all that brought us to, bringing new products on board.
yeah.
And aside that, too, the challenge that we were facing was mostly we are using manual ways of delivering,
Mm,
not just transporting the product, but understanding the problem of our customers and giving them the solution that they deserve. Where all through manual means you interact with them, whether through call, by chat, and we realize that it's not an efficient means if we are looking at scaling up. And that
right,
is where we realize that we will need to inculcate technology into what we have been doing. And
right.
so almost 70% of the whole business has been digitized,
Mm,
aside the production which is being still done manual, which we don't have any means of digitizing. The sales, the consultancy part of what we do has all been digitized. So
right.
instead of the customer calling, discussing, or describing the issue they are having with us, we realize that the issue is dermatology, it's skin and hair. So
Right.
why can't we get an AI that can serve as a dermatologist to represent a human interaction that has to, I mean, come in before we be able to diagnose the problem. So what we
Right.
are doing now is that the AI does that. We chat with the AI, it's able to diagnose your problem, and then the AI helps you by prescribing the problem, the products that fits the problem that you are talking about, and
Yeah.
then you get a link to the kind of product that the AI has given you. So
Mm,
you follow the link, and then you are able to put in your order, and then we comes in to deliver to you.
right. Right. That sounds amazing. And for me, what blows my mind is a lot of companies wait till they are a matured company before they start thinking about AI, before they start thinking about digitization. And that is where we have had it all upside down. From the very beginning, if you can put in the necessary digitization processes, you will be able to scale up faster. You will be able to have like you have had very good market insights, and now you're providing some sort of a very customized service for people to choose what suits their skin type. And so I think big kudos to you. And one of the things I noticed was that you are using your business to empower local women or rural women. These are the people that are manually manufacturing your products. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, so that is where my Mastercard background comes in.
Mm,
I had the opportunity to be in the university through the Mastercard Foundation, and it was because they saw the potential of me being able to help my community. That was why I got the opportunity. So when I went back to my community, I think that was the summer that we met during our internship at Vodafone. Yes,
yeah.
I went back with the task of empowering my rural women. First, I chose the rural women because of my own personal experiences, where there has been a time that your mom will be complaining that he doesn't even have the money to buy salt, which is about 20
Mm.
pesos.
Tell me
Just
about
that.
that.
Yeah. Yes, it's frequent thing that you will always be hearing in those rural communities. And the choices of women in there are very limited because they basically don't handle any money and they don't have any skill that they can depend on apart from
Mm,
maybe doing some small scale farming. And even with the small scale farming, to get someone to even weed the forest for them to start a farming is another challenge.
yeah.
So I decided to try as much as possible to empower them with a skill that can be an alternative for them to depend on. And
Right.
then after the training in the soup, I realized if I don't join them, they may not be able to start something with the soap. So
Mm,
that's the reason why I decided to start the business with them. And so that time we were called Wings to Fly because the targets of the project was to give them the wings that they can use to fly out of poverty. And
yeah.
then with time, we decided to incorporate and become Moreplex Company Limited. So we are very biased when we are recruiting people, very, very biased.
Yeah.
Yes, we focused on women and especially we focus on rural women. So most of our projects, apart from the business, is done in the rural communities. We run the rural hand washing project, which we are starting on 27th of this October, because we have realized that most campaigns are online, most campaigns are on TV, and these are the channels that the rural folks do not have access to. So we are taking it down to them to use the means that we have access to because we stayed with them in the villages and we understand them. So we are using the student fund, so we do it with the students.
Mm-hmm.
We teach the school kids how to properly wash their hands, and then we donate some of the sanitary product we produce to the schools. We
Right.
are doing this because we believe that the children can be ambassadors to take it home, for
Mm-hmm.
the women to also, people to also get it from the kids. And we also have a belief that hand washing is not supposed to be a COVID thing because hand washing is actually,
Exactly.
yes, it's actually a daily habit that's supposed to be inculcated in everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. You know, today happens to be International Day of Rural Women.
Wow.
And so I think that we would just give you a hand of applause for empowering rural women through Moreplex. Yes. I mean, these are the people that support the backbone of our economies. They are the unsung heroes, you know, people that are probably not visible or not connected to the bigger world, to be able to give them such a platform. I think it's one of the most noble things that you can do. So thank you so much for this initiative. And I must say that you are well aligned with Agyei Innovation Studio when it comes to our women empowerment projects. One of the things that we're doing coming November is our She-Rock accelerator program, where we are saying that women who are at home because of career breaks, pregnancy, forced unemployment, let's learn new skills. And so when you touched about skilling, I realized that no, it's actually a very important part of the entire ecosystem. People need to realize that you cannot use the same tools you had 5 years ago to get new results for the next coming decade. You need to reskill, you need to retool. Yeah, so I do really appreciate and say kudos to the work that you're doing with Moreplex. So let's come to as an entrepreneur, right? You were studying
Yeah.
even whilst you were doing this company. What has been your highlights, low lights, highlights, and low lights? If you can just touch on it for me, I think that our audience would be happy to hear that, because a lot of entrepreneurs, they're literally running the whole show, from social media posting to doing the presentation to meeting with possible funding partners and all of that. So yeah, we'll be glad to hear about your struggles or your challenges, both highlights and then low lights.
Okay. Um, the entrepreneur journey to me, I realized that it's something that you cannot run without challenges. And I
Mm,
think the challenges are what actually define us as an entrepreneur, because you are supposed to be solving challenges almost every day as an entrepreneur. So, yes, our journey has really hit a lot of challenges. The first one was where we started from. We began in one single room
mm,
that used to be my grandmother's living room before she passed away. So that facility was too small for what we are trying to do. It doesn't qualify for certification from FDA and GSA. So we needed to try as much as possible to get out of that facility and get a proper place, because we were not targeting a very small market. We were looking at producing luxury products, cheap but luxury products, and that would mean that we need to be able to meet the standards that people in that category looks for. So
yeah.
the challenge was first the production facility, and then we had opportunity because we are Mastercard. I'm a Mastercard scholar, to win our first funding from Mastercard. The first one was $5,000, and later they added another 5,000 to us. Then we began building the facility. Though what we were targeting, the funding was not actually up to the amount needed to put the whole facility. But the starting of that was a really a good investment into us, not only in the monetary terms, but it gave us some confidence and validation to
Okay.
us, the team. We realized that what we are doing is it's actually a good cause,
Mm,
because if the foundation like Mastercard believes in what we are doing and support us, then we may be doing something right.
right.
And it also gave us some sense of responsibility, because we needed to deliver to make sure our funders are really having a good return for what they are believing. So that was our first challenge. The second was myself being a student and also running a business. It was a huge challenge, because at some point I have to make a decision to either go with a business or go to class or maybe attend another. So combining school and the business was really a big challenge. I remember just last 2 months I was part of the UNICEF Startup Lab. It was supposed to be 6 months program, and I could only attend three months out of the full 6 months.
Mm,
I had to get some people to go and represent me and all those challenges, because I needed to complete my final year project,
yeah.
and I needed to also attend to the business needs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the first challenge, I don't know whether the third one, I don't know whether it was a challenge or not, but I actually began my entrepreneurship journey unaware. I didn't see myself becoming an entrepreneur, because I was doing a community project.
Mm,
So at first, my reasoning and everything was community project,
yeah.
until I realized that being a business gives more impact, helps
Mm,
me reach more people and extend to more people than just looking at it as just some small community based projects. And
right.
I was able to realize this only when I had a mentorship with Amadankan. She was the first person that opened my eye to the fact that I'm really limiting my impact that I could have. And
Yeah.
fast forward, I realized that I was really limiting myself,
Mm,
because aside my community, we're also doing training programs in other communities too.
yeah.
And because it wasn't really my community, I was limiting to my community, so I wasn't looking at it that way. fast forward when I realized that if we take it upon ourselves to expand what we are doing, we will really be able to do that. At that time, I've already trained only 25 women, and currently we have trained more than 750 when we
Wow.
really took it upon ourselves. And later, we also realized as a team that if we use digital tools, we can increase more than 1,000%. And that
Right.
was what led to us trying to digitize our training program. And so we have inculcated e-learning platform into our web platform. Though it's not live to the public now, but when it's live, that means anyone, anywhere can take courses in formulation from basic to how you can actually start something with it. And that
Yeah.
is going to be another stream of income to us. And it's going to also help us reach more and more and more people.
Mm.
Yeah, so these could be the challenges I have had, though if I put finance
Yeah.
aside, because that one is basic to the real face.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, Prince, it was really, really surreal listening to you. You were a student. You were still completing your degree in KNUST and community project, only to realize that this was beyond the community project. For me, it's more the realizing that you got something that the world needs, because you could have stuck during community project, but now your initiative has been able to empower over 750 women with new skills. And I can't wait for your e-learning portal to be up so
Yeah.
you can scale up. And that's one of the things that so we have an initiative at Agyei Innovation Studio called the Startup Box, and it's through this initiative that I we came into contact. And um, we are looking at how startups and businesses can incorporate technology from the very onset, because you have no idea how somebody in Malaysia, somebody in the Gambia, in Zambia, is willing to probably be a part of your team as even an employee, a volunteer. Somebody wants to be a part of your project as a partner or a sponsor, but you have no technology, you are not digitized, you're not connected to the internet, you don't have a social media page, you're not tracking your CRM. How are you going to connect? How are you going to connect? And so that is the trend we've seen in Africa, that more and more, when you're not connected or you're not digitizing your products, you get really stagnant for a very long period of time. So I think that's a really noble cause to really expand this work that you're doing to touch more than the people that you've already touched. And I can't wait to see, some of the amazing things that we'll be doing. Yeah. So one of the things that I wanted to touch on, I remember 2 weeks ago, we posted on our LinkedIn platform a poll. And then we said that in Africa, what do you think is the biggest challenge for, new businesses and startups to grow? What is the biggest challenge? And the options we had were funding, money, we had digital processes, we had legal and policy, and then we also had operational. And the answer that won the poll was funding. Funding, yes. So funding actually won that poll, with 90% of the people that voted said funding is the biggest challenge. And on the flip side, I'm looking at the statistics that says that about 75% of um, venture capital startups are failing. So people that are being backed by funds are also failing. And out of this 75% of startups backed by venture capital that are failing, 30 to 40% of these startups and these investors are not getting any of their money back. So it's like I put in and I got nothing in return. So I just want to ask you for your opinion just before I go on to my main question, that do you really, really, really think that funding is the biggest challenge for startups and entrepreneurs in Africa?
Okay. As I said in my first delivery, I put
Yeah.
funding aside
Mm,
before talking about the challenges that we were facing. To me, I will not place funding first. I'll not place funding first, and I will use myself as an example. As at now, we still don't really have enough funding, but still we keep on moving. And then there is a mistake, a basic that it's happened to me from the start, and I
Yeah.
think it's really something that happens to a lot of entrepreneurs, because most entrepreneurs maybe begin from being a technical person before starting his or her own company. So my background, let me say, I started as a chemical engineer, and mostly in our product design. What I've realized is that most people are so much enthused with the product,
Mm.
just putting in the technical aspects, and that's all, without getting to interact with the market, the people, and everything. So we are enthused in the technical part, and by the time you are done, you realize that you may have produced something that is too sophisticated for the market you are trying to reach,
Yeah.
or you may have produced something that is not actually solving the problem that you are trying to solve, or
Yeah.
you may have oversolved the problem. So I think the
Yeah.
product market fit would actually be the biggest challenge that
Mm.
entrepreneurs in Africa, and not only Africa, around the world face,
Around the world.
other than funding, because we really get enthused with the technical parts and
Mm.
leave the other aspect of the product development journey out.
Yeah. 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 Awesome. So I think bringing in the concept of, even as an entrepreneur, whatever area that you're specialized in, don't over, emphasize that space. Find people that are knowledgeable to make the product holistic, because then at the end of the day you don't
Yes,
deliver a left-handed product when you're dealing with
product.
a right-handed, or you're dealing with someone that can use both hands. You'll be way down on one side.
Exactly.
I remember listening to
Exactly.
a podcast. I've forgotten who was delivering that podcast, but one of the things they did as a startup was that they incubated their organization. They were working on the product for 3 years, even before the product came out. They had nothing on social media. They were testing with, from company to company, partners to partners. They didn't have something they were selling on the market for 3 years. And a lot of people would say that, come on, you've got an idea. Just put it out there, test the market. Let's see how people will respond to it. And that's the notion that I hear a lot of people say today, that Charlie, you never know whether your thing is effective until you go out. But there's a difference between just going out and putting the product out there, and then going out and finding people who could really test your solution to see how it works. In your case, you had been working with a community who have been developing this product as a community product until you realize that no, this actually can be scaled into a business. And I think one of the three things that I also mentioned from your previous response was, when you had funding, it gave you a sense of responsibility. You also felt that no, somebody could believe in my product to invest. And then lastly, you also sought mentorship to be able to really decide on which tangent you are going as a business, whether to continue to do it as a community project or to incorporate it. So I think this is some takeaways that our listeners can also take with them if they're in any journey of entrepreneurship. So I'm just going to come to a question about your future initiative. But first of all, what are you most proud of? What are you most proud of in this journey? What would you look back and say, no,
Yeah.
I am proud of this moment? Tell me about it.
Yes. 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 I think before stating what I'm actually proud of,
Hmm.
I would also talk about what keep motivating me in all the challenges that we face.
Yeah.
And they are the women. They are the women that I work with. Whenever I hit up with a challenge that really hits me down,
Hmm.
I just look at them and remember where we started from with them.
Hmm.
And then the whole idea of them going back to be like how they were before we met really pushed me to get up and keep going, because I feel like it will be very disappointing to them. And I don't know, they will could be a laughing stock in the community where we all started, everybody saw them going, and now we are coming
mm,
back. And one thing I realized was when we started putting up the facility, they look at the plan and everything, and they were a little bit scared that looking at where we are going, we may leave them out on
mm,
something. And so I needed to motivate them and keep them informed that we are in this together. All that I have to do is to keep on upgrading them to meet the demands of the growing company,
yeah.
so that they can still stay relevant and keep on going. So my motivation and everything that I'll be much proud of is knowing that my decisions now help some women put on clothes, get their daily meal, and are able to make some decisions on their own.
Mm. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. So, just looking into the next few, let's say, short term, short term, the next 2 to 3 years. What are you guys working on? What are you guys hoping? What is the vision you guys want to see Moreplex? So when I Google you guys in the next 2 years, in 2023, I mean, what do you want me to find on Google about
Okay,
Moreplex?
okay. So um, mostly when we set these kind of goals, 2 years, by the time you realize we are doing it in the next month. So
Mm,
I'm a little bit. Yes, we have always been about the community since we started. It runs through how we source our materials and everything. So now what we are doing is we are trying to change the way the community is doing their business
mm-hmm.
when it comes to the farming.
Yeah,
They are not focused on some of the best raw materials that industries are really looking for. So we are starting with our Moreplex farm where we are going to grow aloe vera, turmeric, carrots,
mm,
and those industry needed products. And we are
right,
using it as a model farm to encourage the rural people to go into the needed raw materials so that they can get market for the
right.
materials that they are doing. And we are also going to run the cocoa potash project where we are trying to create wealth from the cocoa pod,
Mm,
because most of the rural folks are cocoa farmers. And aside the cocoa beans, they throw away about 70, 85% of the whole cocoa mass as waste. So we are developing a technology that we could actually refine the
mm,
cocoa pod into 99.5% purity. Currently,
wow,
we are able to do it to 80, but we are trying to upgrade to 99% purity, that is industrial standard, so
right,
that we can actually create products from the raw materials that they are throwing away and use it as a way of creating employment for the rural people, especially those who are already cocoa farmers. So
right.
those two are our biggest aim now,
Mm,
to be able to do the farming, to make them able to transit into better farming models, and
right.
also to find a solution to the cocoa pod waste.
Okay. I think that's really interesting because some of the ideas that today people are implementing to enable the work they're doing to be sustainable. It's not just to give the saying that says that if you give someone a fish, the person would be hungry after a day. But if you
Exactly.
teach them how to fish, you've given them fish for a lifetime. And so your ambition to um, start to incorporate sustainable models for these community folks, that they would have a new way of doing things because they probably have been doing the same thing over the years because that's what they learned from their grandfather, that's what their grandfathers learned from their grandfathers. And so to come in and teach them, through research, through innovation, and these are some of the things that differentiate somebody just waking up to start a business, like getting goods and putting it in a shop and reselling, from a startup, is growth and innovation. So without the innovation factor, you cannot even be termed as a startup. And I think that is one of the interesting things that we need to realize, that if we're starting any business, the part of the role that innovation plays should really be a priority. And so I think that's really interesting, because in the next couple of months or years, I would be happy to see that this project that you just mentioned to refine some of these cocoa raw materials that are going to waste to something that can be used in our day to day in the work that we do, and that is really impressive. I think we would probably come to, in terms of leadership, because you're a fabulous leader. You've trained so many women. You have a passion, an innate passion in you that is saying that I'm not going to give up just because of this women, because only God knows in the next 5 years what the independence that you've given to these women will translate into the wealth they give to their children. So it's that ripple effect that you are causing, because you've moved someone from becoming financially independent, and they in turn will be able to give their children, the future. And then you never know that the child or the grandchild of one of these women could be the next president. And so it's really something that's on my heart. And I'm just going to urge you on that, keep that motivation going. So about leadership, you are a young leader. You started a big project. You're leading a company. One of the things that I want us to focus on as young leaders, because I'm also leading Agyei Innovation Studio. What is it that you're thinking about, strategies for the future that would make your company outlast you? Or to put it in another way, if you stop being the CEO in the next 1 year, do you think Moreplex will still survive?
Yeah, yes, we will.
Mm,
We have to, and we must survive. And that is why we try as much as possible to let everyone joining our team who knows where we started from, what's
right.
motivating us. So we actually, I always tell my people that you can't motivate with money, and we don't even have the money to motivate you. But we want someone who can feel what we felt before we started to join us. So that has been what has kept our team going. From those who have joined us recently to even the interns, when you ask them why they decided to join us as a very small company that is trying to do that,
Mm,
most of them, most of them came from the motivation of what we have been doing. And aside that, we do put in, I don't know how to put it, but a model that defines how things are supposed to be done, who is
right.
next, and all those comes in with the trainings, the internal trainings that we do, the trainings
Yeah.
that we see around to get people on board. So yes, we have a system that tells that, oh, when this person stays with us for a very time, we identify those who can lead, and then we start with linking them to the training models, the
Mm,
training programs,
right.
opportunities that could build their capacity to take over when we are not there. Before you can grow, you need a whole community around you.
Mm,
That is what I've realized. You need a community of people who
that's
believes in
right.
what you are doing. You need a community of people who will always put everything that they are doing to keep
Mm,
the dream going.
that's right.
And that is the community we are trying to build. Yes, so yes, now I know that if I'm not there, more place will still go and even go better than I am.
Wow, wow. How many employees do you have? Um, how many employees do you have, or with interns and everything together? How many people are you leading?
Okay, so we are 30 now because the interns are 15 and they came to meet a team of 15.
Hmm. Awesome, 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 awesome. So where are you located at the moment?
Okay, so currently we have an office on KNUST campus. So there is an office space that we got from the school's incubator. So we have an office space on campus, We are also in Ashanti Bekwai, and just last week we have a shop also at Atonsu where we are going to use as an office space and also a sales outlet.
Right. Okay. So, just for our listeners, we would be wrapping up the conversation shortly, but I just wanted to put that question or comment in the chat. What do you want to ask Prince, or what do you want to say to Prince? Just put it in the chat feature, and then I would read that to him, and then he would answer your question before you go. So, I mean, that's fabulous to be leading a team of about 30, um, at a young age. What have you discovered about leadership, that could change this country, that could change the continent of Africa? Because you have experienced it, to be able to take a team from, community project to an incorporated business. You have provided 30 people a purposeful work opportunity. Because I mentioned purposeful because now today a lot of people, after, during this whole pandemic brouhaha, it's like people are looking for something that they can connect to their soul with, work that is meaningful to them. And you are providing such work opportunities. And I can only imagine in the next 5 years, we will be talking about maybe 1,000 employees and 2,000 staff. You have distributing outlets in other countries in Africa. So, what have you discovered is one of the key takeaways, maybe to any entrepreneur who is leading, even if it is just himself as a team?
Okay, so as I said earlier, you need a community around you.
Yeah,
And in building that community, you have to be interested in the people that you are working with. Not just about them coming to work today to deliver on the task assigned to them, but you have to be interested in them, their growth, their happiness, and everything that comes to them. So here at More Place, we all own the company, we all own the vision, we all own what we are doing, and we are all so much passionate about what we have been doing,
yeah,
because it's not about delivering to just, the task, but it's about also them fulfilling their inner passion and their willingness to see, people growing, serving people, making some people happy. And so you see, most of our team, one thing I've also realized is that most of them comes from the background of being masterclass scholars.
okay,
And these are people who were actually passionate about their community already.
mm,
So they bring that kind of passion on board,
yeah,
and we all share same beliefs of seeing the continent Africa growing. So it's
mm,
more like we all have the opportunity now to contribute to the growth of the Africa Renaissance, and
yeah,
more specifically to empowering women. So I
yeah,
think the shared beliefs that we have will be one of the things that I will ask every entrepreneur when you are building a team. Try as much as possible to get people who share in your beliefs,
yeah.
in your dreams, and you really want to see the results that you want to achieve.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So shared values. It's really important. So that, I mean, today when there's a question from Stephen that said, "Have you ever felt like giving up on this entrepreneurship before?" It was like, seriously, let me just pack my bag and baggage, just go and work for someone, and then, yeah. Have
Yes,
you been at that point?
definitely, definitely. I
Definitely.
have. I have been there countless of time where sometimes I feel like at least I'm a chemical engineer. Let me go and find somewhere and work.
You have a backup. You have a backup.
Come on, yes. And that
Yeah.
that was actually some fear in my women when we started. They
Mm,
thought as a university student, I have maybe a backup plan
mm,
where I could just join someone's company and start working, and that is the end of them.
mm.
You know, yes. So yes, I've thought about that,
That's
especially
right.
sometimes when family pressures and all that comes in,
Yeah.
and then you are trying to achieve something, you are pushing, you are not getting the results that you are looking for,
Right.
and
Right.
then you see opportunities being posted on your platform almost every
Mm.
day,
Oh,
and
tell me. Tell
you,
me, Prince.
yes, you are
Yeah.
always tempted to maybe get off. But as I said, I always
Yeah.
look back and look at the women, and sometimes the fulfillment that comes from
Yeah.
seeing someone who basically had nothing to depend on
Yeah.
now can boast of something because you took the decision to
That's
help.
right. That's right. That's right. So I mean, I think that one of the things you've kind of reiterated it more than once is the fact that you need to have that strong motivation. Whatever got you to start this, you need to really deepen that motivation. Because if the
Yes.
motivation is not deepened, tomorrow you just go like, I mean, nobody's forcing me to do this. Come on, just like pack your bags and baggage and just close down. This week, there's one platform that my team and I have been using for a virtual community event, which is more of an AR augmented reality platform we've been using, and we're having some technical challenges. And so I said, oh no, let's talk to their tech team to figure out what's going on because we've not got a response. And I reached out to the CEO and was like, "Oh, Joy, I'm so sorry you missed all the notification, but the company has closed down. We had to shut down because we ran out of cash." And I just thought of how my team feels when we're using their platform, the future plans that we had using the platform. I even started to talk to some of our startups and clients to say that, hey, this is a great platform you could use. I'm sitting in my space. Somebody has built a product, yet I'm so motivated for their product and sharing it with others. So to hear that the company had actually folded up because um, they didn't have the funds to keep going, like I just couldn't handle it. And it's the same that you're talking about, that people are counting on the work that you're doing. People are counting on the impacts that you're creating. So it's not just about you, it's not just about me, but what we are creating is actually going to ripple into the Africa that we want. It's going to ripple into the kind of lives that we want and for our future, children to come. Yeah, so I do really appreciate that. If you have any question, we're wrapping up in the next 2 minutes. So go ahead and send your last question or final thoughts to Prince. And I will let Prince, I will give him 1 minute to give us his final closing thoughts before we wrap up. So for Zaytu, sorry, Faziatu Mohammed sent a question. It said, with he being a young entrepreneur, what have been some of the challenges when he meets big men out there? Poziatu is coming from the place where she's like, you're just like a young chemical engineer, you just graduated. What happens when you meet, those who have the experts in the industry, who are, making better products, they have, well branded products. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, mostly I feel there is a chance to learn.
Mm,
Mostly when I meet them, yeah, it's actually one thing that I'm so much intentional about.
right.
If I know they are coming, especially when there is exhibition opportunities, and I know the big guys are coming, then I have to be there. I have to be there because there is an opportunity to learn from them. It's an opportunity to ask questions about the things that we are facing. And yeah, mostly those that we are seeing big men face a lot of the challenges that we are facing. So when I meet them, we talk about it, and they also share the same thing. It's more
Right,
like, oh, so it's normal.
right,
You get it,
right,
yes, sure. So
right.
I see the big guys as an opportunity to learn from. I
That's for
remember the
sure.
last time I attended UNDP Waste Management Fair. When I got there, where my tent was, about 5, 10 feet, my professor to his tent was there. So I just
Wow.
went there, introduced myself to him, said, this is me, way back 10 year, I was your project student. And now
Mm,
he's gone, so he was finding it a little bit difficult to. Then I started talking about the project and he remembered me.
yeah.
And then we started a conversation and he really worked me, a professor and student. So he
Yeah.
started giving me more insight on the project that I'm trying to do and offered a chance for us to collaborate to work on.
Mm,
So I think for me, the Big Guys has always been a learning platform.
Yeah.
just to learn from them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that is a great point you've just made. We need to learn as much as possible, and don't compete with anyone. If you see someone's organization just got $10,000 million in funding, hey, do what you're doing, provide the value, let people see the value that you're bringing, and you would also get the funding, or you'll be able to raise, your own capital from, the revenues that you're generating. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, yesterday I saw this guy's company just got like this huge amount of money, and you're jittery, you're looking for funding, you're attending every um, competition, just because you also want to be funded. That is not the key to success. Funding would only enable you to do what you're already doing. It would just enable you. So if you don't have strong systems, if your product is not meeting market needs, it would only expose your weaknesses. The funding will only expose your weaknesses, because now you have to report to investors, now you have to report to venture capitalists and all of that. So let's build a strong core as an organization, and then when the funding comes, because some people have also become a lost cause because too much money was given to them, and they
Yeah.
just didn't know how to work around it and how to turn over the money. So I think that I'm just going to let you say your final words, and then I would wrap up.
Okay, so my final words will be that we should try as much as possible to limit the complaints,
Mhm.
because I've met a lot of young people like myself who really has bitter complaints either about family members who they think they have made it, so they are supposed to help them or hold their hands to get to where they are going. I think we need to take the responsibility of ourselves early, and then there are a lot of opportunities around us, which gives us an opportunity to help ourselves, our
Yeah,
community, and build the dream Ghana that we have been dreaming of. So the first thing that you have to do is to get away from the self and entitlement stage, and then start knowing that the responsibility on you to either grow
yeah,
or not depends on you.
right.
And I think if if you are able to have a dream that doesn't really boils around only you, but other
Mm,
people, it
yeah.
is really easy to carry it on. So let's take the decision early. Let's build ourselves up,
Hmm.
and let's know that the longer we can go depends on ourselves.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Baffour. Thank you so much for making the time. I can see that, those who are watching us, they've been sharing their excitement, and they're saying that keep going. Many comments coming through from the platform. It says that you're doing a fabulous job. So Claudia Elistite says, kudos, Prince, keep going. Piwe says, Prince has changed the destinies of African children, and that is no mean feat. Claudia says, huge dreams, I like them. Lots of love from those watching. Eben Hagen says, very interesting. These are some of the comments that have been coming. Foziatu says, very inspiring. Um, yes, Stephen, Linda, Theophilus, all those that joined us on the live show, Johnson, everyone, Nancy, everybody is sending lots of love to you. So, to everyone that stayed tuned till the very end, we just want to say thank you so much. I have been your host, and we would be coming to you on a bi-weekly basis. We'll be highlighting or spotlighting some of our startups who have joined the Startup Box program and doing amazing things in the African space. So just before we go, just by way of announcement, Abe Innovation Studio is coming out with the second edition of the She Rock Female Accelerator program, which has been designed for it has been designed for women on career breaks, who today are at home due to forced employment, childbirth, and all other reasons of caring. And so we want you to just register. If you're at home, if you're on a career break, take advantage of this digital skills training mentorship sessions for 4 weeks and get an opportunity. And you stand the chance of getting an opportunity to do a paid internship with different partners, including Agyei Innovation Studios. So we just want to, if you've been watching us, listening, and seeing the work we've been doing, send us an email at sherock@agyeistudios.com. If you want to partner with us on this project, we're looking to have women across the continent come together, to redefine, refine, to reposition for relevance. And I've been your host, Joy Bunsu-Schmutz, co-founder and CEO of Agyei Innovation Studio. A big thank you to you for connecting with us, and do have a wonderful evening.
Thinking of how you can access and incorporate technology such as cloud computing into your startup? Then welcome Startup Box from Agyei Innovation. Be ahead of the game in this fast-changing digital age to meet the needs of your clients. Whatever your startup is, sign up for Startup Box to ensure sustainability. As an affiliate of IBM Cloud, we can help you get access to up to $120,000 of cloud credits, mentoring, training, among others, to accelerate your growth. As a technology and innovation partner, we provide you with exclusive resources as well as an innovation consult to help you keep things fresh, set up an innovation strategy and team to future-proof your startup. Africa needs your startup to thrive beyond the 5-year mark. Sign up today